I first started playing A Township Tale in 2019 on my Rift S on PCVR. I was even a supporter for a couple years. In 2021, the Quest version of the game came out, and I bought that as well. But I haven't been on in a while, and I like to go back and see if it has progressed every now and then. In my opinion, the game was always something special and underrated, but its development has been painfully slow. While it has great mechanics and concepts, it lacks any form of actual lore or campaign, and for me it is more of a social app than anything else. That said, there are a lot of things this title does offer, and I will try to explain it as well as I can, so that you can determine if A Township Tale is worth your time. But first I want to let you know that I appreciate you for checking out my small channel, and if you would like to see this channel grow, please drop a like and subscribe. Most of the activities in this game are gathering materials and crafting items, and the mechanics in both gathering and crafting are very immersive and even somewhat physically demanding. Township Tale offers some pretty cool areas to explore. The main town has a spawn location where you will respawn every time you die, unless you activate one of the new camp locations, which weren't here the last time I was on. The customization house is where you can go to change your outfit and apply any cosmetics you have. The customization's pretty impressive in this game. The blacksmith allows you to smelt ore into metal and alloy bars that you can smith into weapons and tools. The smithing in A Township Tale was incredible for its time, and it still holds up to this day. In fact, it seems that some of the newer VR games have been inspired by these mechanics. The woodworking station is where you can craft handles, bows, and shields. I don't know of any other game that has woodworking mechanics as good as those done here. In the carpentry station, you can craft lanterns, backpacks, and attachments. Once again, the crafting mechanics used to make backpacks and other helpful items in the carpentry station are top tier. You can cook stews at the tavern or anywhere else where you have water, fire, and a pot. Some of the stews give you buffs like invulnerability, the ability to run faster, and even the ability to glow in the dark. Pro tip, you can place up to 3 rock salt or garlic, or any combination of the two, in addition to the ingredients of the stew. Every salt added increases the buff duration by 10%, while every garlic increases the stew's nutrition by 10%. You can store your goods in the town hall in the lockbox. This now includes the ability to store a whole backup bag, which is a new feature that I hadn't seen before this current revisit to the game. You can also press gold bars into gold coins here once you have made the coin press. Outside of the town, you have more dangerous and rewarding areas. The Dust Bowl is little more than a path to the cliffs, and it's inhabited by worms. The cliffs offer some chests, but most importantly you can acquire teleportation potions here. There are worms here as well, and they can be a bit more dangerous as you try to ascend the cliffside. Unfortunately, building the stairs that lead up to the teleportation requires gold bars, which usually means going at least 10 levels deep in the mines. You will also need 2 dynamites to open the cliffs, and to open the path to the potion reserve. There are trees that you can chop down for wood here as well. Pro tip, fireworks can also be used as an alternative to dynamite to clear explodable walls. The Rocklands are a less dangerous place to mine for coal and soapstone and even get a little bit of ore. There are a few low-level Turabatas here, so be careful, and there is one area where there is a special Turabata that changes every day. This one is Mithril, the most dangerous Turabata type in the game. It can kill you in just a couple hits. If you kill them, they turn into rocks and ore. Pro tip, the Turabata shard, often called the Turabata Eye, can be used to hurt and stun lower level Turabatas. You can even use this as an exploding arrowhead when crafted with a shaft and feather. The bandit camps have treasure chests where you can find some interesting loot, but beware the phantoms at night. Usually defeating a phantom rewards you with nothing, but there is a small chance that you will get a rare phantom guard that you can craft into a sword with special and rare powers. Phantoms can't be hit unless you throw a Goterra spore at them, which makes them materialize and become vulnerable for a short time. This is also where I've had the best luck finding heart fruits, which add a permanent health bar to your lifeline. They look like glowing red hearts on a flower. But I've been unable to find one since I started playing again to show you. They are very rare. I believe you max out at 25 health bars, but you only start with 10. There's also a good place to gather ingredients for stews and potions, and some of these can even be planted in town and grown into plants in the future. If you bring a shovel, there are a few areas that contain hidden treasure. The woods is where you can find treasures and get basic wood, but beware the Goterras that will attack you on sight with their projectile attacks. Kill them and they turn into lumber. Only basic Goterras are in the woods. The forest is far more perilous than the woods. Unfortunately, the forest has not been added to the Quest version of the game yet and is only available on PC. There are more creatures here as well. The deer are timid and will flee from you as soon as they see you. But if hunted, they drop meat and leather and have a 10% chance of dropping big leather rolls, which are needed to craft large backpacks. Dragonflies are harmless and useless, but it is fun to grab them. The giant babu is a gentle creature, but if you attack it, it will fight back with deadly charges that can launch you into the air. Felling them rewards you with meat chunks that can be roasted into meat chops, which gives you a temporary strength boost when consumed. You will also find much more dangerous Gotera types here and can find large quantities of higher quality wood if you are daring enough to go deep in the forest. I suggest carrying a teleportation potion or two if you venture into the forest because it can be hard to find your way back, especially if you get low on food or health. Beware these dangerous plants as they will attack you, but they also blow up into a cloud of poisonous gas when you destroy them. The tarn is about halfway down the path to the climbing tower, and is just a very small version of the forest. There will be a few special Gotera here that change every day. It is basically the forest equivalent of what the Rocklands is to the mines. The climbing canyon stretches from the tarn to the climbing tower, and there's a few Turabatas here. The mines are pretty perilous. First of all, it is pitch black down there. If you don't bring a torch, you are going to get lost very fast. The mines are procedurally generated each time a new floor is uncovered, for the first time on a server, and on PCVR they can go down over 1,000 floors. I believe the Quest version caps out at some point, or at least it did when I played it last on Quest, but it still offered well over 100 levels. I couldn't find any specific numbers, but I have seen where there was an invisible barrier to go any lower. You will encounter all types of Turabatas here, as well as worms that spit projectiles at you. The projectile from a crystal worm is extremely dangerous, as is a hit from a mithril Turabata. There are many treasures and quality ores to be retrieved, however, and it is the only place to obtain valuable crystals which can be used to rebuild and power the Televator, which is an elevator to the mines that allows you to return to unlocked lower levels. In order to access the lower levels, though, you have to repair it at the bottom and the top. Pro tip: around the 9th to 11th floor you will come across glowing crystal nodes. The shards from these can be attached to wooden stakes and used to mark paths that lead the way down the dark caves. On levels 21, 41, and 61, there are combat trials, which someone will need to defeat on your server in order to unlock fuel and molten cores in order to enable your forge to make higher level alloys and work with stronger metals. It used to be that when you die in A Township Tale, you would drop everything on you, and you would have to retrace your steps to where you died to retrieve it. Now, however, it seems that when you respawn, your items follow you, and you can even be revived by others if they have 3 crystals. In fact, you can choose to lie there until someone resurrects you, or you can accept death and respawn. This will make things like completing the trials alone on your server far less difficult. This is another sign that this game is still being updated, or at least has been since I last played. Last but definitely not least is the massive climbing tower, which many still consider to be one of the hardest accomplishments in all of VR. I don't want to tell you how many hours of grinding it took me to defeat this for the first time. Finally reaching the top definitely earns you some bragging rights and unlocks the ability to climb any vertical surface in the game, but watch your stamina. One good thing about the tower is that your items are safely stored away while you attempt it, and there are checkpoints along the way. The tower has multiple paths up, and there are even people who grow kind of obsessed with it and try to beat their times and attempt other paths. If you have a ceiling fan, I suggest you turn it off when trying to beat the tower, and make sure you have a decent amount of space around you. It gets intense, trust me. You can level up your avatar with the talent trees in mining, lumberjacking, smithing, melee combat, and archery. You gain experiences by doing the action. So every time you strike heated metal with a smithing hammer, you get a little experience in the smithing tree. Every time you strike an ore node with a pickaxe, you get experience in mining, or shooting an arrow into an enemy gives you archery. But you have a limited number of levels you can gain, so choose your skills wisely. To level up, you need to visit one of the 6 shrines and apply your points there. You max out at 8 skills, and you can reset your skills, but you can only have 3 unspent skills in any specific category at a time. This game hasn't developed nearly as fast as I wish it would. They announced that they were working on adding player houses, for instance, about 3 years ago, and they still aren't in the game. To be fair, they launched the Quest 2 version in July of 2021, which came with a bunch of challenges and necessary updates that set them back quite a bit. But for a game that's been around since 2016, they just haven't come as far as I hoped they would, and still haven't even gotten the Quest version fully caught up to the PCVR version. Despite that, this game still has a lot to offer. As a social app, it is really fun to hang out with your friends or meet and group up with strangers and go mining or running through the forest or attempt to climb the tower. The community when I started was very friendly and helpful. However, when it came to quests, the game became overrun with children who liked to grief new players and steal their stuff, making it hard for new people to learn the game. I imagine this is why you don't drop your items on death anymore. I feel like most of the toxic community, however, has long since moved on, and the people I have encountered during my revisit to this title have all been very helpful and friendly. On PCVR, the game is free, and you can join any open server and make it your home. There are cosmetics that can only be obtained by buying talents with real money and using them to purchase clothing and accessories, but other than that, the game costs nothing. It is a little awkward getting it set up the first time, as you have to download it from their website, which I will link in the details, and then open it in the Meta PCVR app or SteamVR. On the Quest, the game costs just under $10, but you get your own private server that you can control with the purchase. You can keep it private and only let your friends in, or you can open it up to everyone. You can also join other people's servers. Servers can be customized and modded. Some have magic, some have their own solutions to player housing, some do role play and have people taking specialized tasks. There are a lot of online resources for how to make your server the way you want it to be. When you first start the game, there is a tutorial server that you need to complete before you are free to join other servers. Obviously, I can't go too deep into every aspect of this game in one video without it being long and boring, but I think I gave you a broad enough overview of the game that you will be able to make an informed decision as to whether or not this is a title you are interested in. It does appear that updates have been made to this game since I last played, so while this game develops very slowly, it has not been abandoned. And even now, I find myself getting sucked into this virtual world. It took me a long time just to unlock everything I wanted to cover in this video. I had to build some of the bridges and stairs, find the blueprints and some of the tools, etc. And there is just so much to cover that I'm sure this video has gotten pretty long already. So let me stop here. Please let me know in the comments if this is something you have played before or plan to check out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and game on.